Hi, guys, and welcome to the first episode of the STEM Seekers podcast. My name is Sam.
And I'm Josh.
And basically, what we want to do with this podcast is kind of educate young people as to all the careers in STEM and how we get there. So, today, as with our first episode, we will be interviewing a medical student.
This is Sam's friend from church.
Yeah, church.
From church. And so today we'll be speaking with the medical student right now. And then we want to talk about his journey from high school to obviously med school. And we want to talk the pressures of high school. We want to talk about what life is really like as a medical student as compared to being in high school. And we want to talk about just all the stuff preparing and obviously the reality. Thank you.
Yeah. So, without further ado, this is Rylan. Rylan, do you want to introduce yourself, kind of give an overview as to where in your medical school journey you are at?
Yeah, I'm Rylan. I'm a first year medical student. I just finished the first semester, so I'm on break right now. Yeah, that's about it. I went to Campbell Grammar as part of my high school, and now I'm at Monash studying medicine.
Yeah, so Monash Medicine has like that undergrad entry program, where you can start doing medicine from undergrad, and it's quite competitive. So, I mean, how do you think you build up your application to succeed in this like really competitive applicant pool?
In terms of building up application, I'm not particularly sure how much like certain like extracurricular makes, unless you're going for like a scholarship. It really comes down to the three core things, which is ATAR, UCAT, and interview. So I think if you just really nail down those three things, yeah, you certainly have a good fighting chance.
Yeah. And in terms of ATAR, I guess the common, I would say when you're applying to med, you're thinking, obviously, if you get 99.95 ATAR, you can do whatever course you want. But what range would you say do you see amongst your classmates? Like, if you know, what's like the lowest ATAR that you know of currently enrolled at Monash Med?
Oh, well, if you go onto the website, it actually displays it. But the lowest for the base course is, I believe, like 97, around 97.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
So, again, it's not, you can, for instance, if you do like fall back a bit on ATAR, you can still make it up with your UCAT and your interview. So
yeah.
I wouldn't really be too worried if, let's say, if any aspiring medical students are out there, if they not doing like that as good as they could want to, if you just knuckle down on UCAT or your interview, I think that can really make it up. So don't worry too much, to be honest.
Yeah. So if you like get a poor ATAR, you'll make it up with your UCAT. And then I guess that would lead us to like another question. Like, when do you think is like the best time to start prepping for UCAT? I mean, we've got peers that are like they're doing UCAT prep since what, year 10?
Year 10, year 9.
Yeah, so it's really full on because everyone wants to do medicine. So like, when did you start doing UCAT prep?
Well, I started doing UCAT prep also around year 11, maybe even end of year 10. But when I look back on the journey, there's really no reason you should start that early, in my opinion. I mean, you can start at like the year you're doing the UCAT. You can really start doing it then. Like, because to be honest, like I did a lot of UCAT prep, but I really only started to lock in only like 2 or 3 months like prior to the actual UCAT, actually starting to sit down and do hours of the years before. I would do maybe like only like an hour or so of UCAT every few days. So
I mean, that's still a lot.
hour, maybe a week or something like that. It wasn't that worth it. And I mean, I think it's unnecessary stress, in my opinion, if you're not getting the scores you want at that time. If you just start the year, you have the UCAT at the very start, I think you'll be fine, to be honest. And that's at least the consensus I get from lots of my peers. They only start like the year of the.
I mean, that's good. That's valuable information because I mean, for me, I'm getting pressed a lot about doing UCAT now, like
Doing the UCAT tutoring.
doing UCAT tutoring and
Yeah, that's what I did. UCAT tutoring too.
yeah, I mean, I just don't know how.
Do the UCAT tutoring like help a lot or?
Hmm? Nah, okay, listen, UCAT tutoring kind of establishes the basis for like your knowledge. But at the end of the day, what's really going to get your scores up is doing practice exams. And not just, I think the key distinguishing is not just singular, like just doing verbal reasoning or just doing decision making, doing full mocks and just, sitting down and just doing them, just cranking them out. That's the best way to improve.
You've heard it here first. This is the UCAT hack.
There's no hack. the hack, just do them.
Just do it. Practice makes perfect.
So-
Yeah. And you reckon there's like one section of the UCAT that I would say stumps people the most?
Yeah, I think certainly verbal reasoning is very stumpy the most.
I've seen so many TikToks about that. It's like verbal reasoning. How do you do verbal reasoning?
Yeah.
It's certainly the most difficult, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we've covered ATAR, we've covered UCAT. What about the interview? What's that like?
The interview from Monash at least is much more chill than many of the other universities. So I got interviews at like UNSW and like Adelaide, and they were a bit more hardcore, whereas Monash is a lot more chill. I think for me, I only started practicing interview towards the end of the exam period, so like October, November, and I had about like a month or two to practice. So like I wouldn't do that during like while you're grinding for VC. I'd wait until the end.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, but it's pretty straightforward, right? That you can kind of delay it and then not do too much prep for it and be like really well versed in your interview skills.
Yeah, I think again, it's just similar to the UCAT, just doing it, just even just getting a friend and making sample questions with like ChatGPT or something, and just
Yeah.
the way that I improved well is that I recorded my voice and I listened back to it.
Oh.
If you hear your articulation well, because I think a big part of it is your articulation and how you come across the examiner, not just your content, but you have to be confident and to have some weight behind it. So if you listen to yourself, look at your if your posture and everything like that, how you express your words. No, even just these subtle details can make an impression, and at the end of the day, you just want to make the best impression for them.
Okay.
So when was this interview? Like, approximately after how long after beta was released? Or
Oh, it was again, I started maybe towards the end of the exam period because I studied a language, so I had my exam was in like I forgot exactly what date it was, November 20th, something like that. But I was doing it maybe towards the end of October, or towards the start of November. So, and the interview was in December, so it was about a month or two prior. Okay.
Okay.
So once you finish your exams, I just practice your interview. Just keep practicing over and over again with your friends or to yourself or whatnot.
Yeah. So what are they actually like assessing in the interview? Like your like interest in medicine, why you wouldn't become a doctor, or just like overall why you're a good person?
Okay, so that's what you expect in the interview. I think many of the other interviews, UNSW and Adelaide, have that emphasis on looking at you as a person. But for some reason, like for my interview, they didn't even ask me anything about me. They didn't ask me why I want to be a doctor, why I want to do anything. They gave you case studies. So I think I signed a contract which I can't legally disclose like the exact case studies. Many of them are like to do with ethical considerations. So let's say you find out your friend is cheating in an exam. What do you do? Let's say you have a patient, you have one heart and two patients. What do you do? It's things like that. And you have to kind of delve into your thought process and thinking. Yeah.
so did
You can find many of the questions online.
Yeah, so there's a certain skill set that you have to have when you're going into the interviews, just like as you would prepare for like a UCAT or something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it'll be quite tough to wing it, but I think anyone going to interview, I really think like practice.
Right. Okay. That's
Mm.
good. So you mentioned you did like a language before. Like what subjects did you do in year 12 what subjects did you do in year 12?
Okay, so I took specialist maths, I took
Yeah.
maths methods, English literature, Indonesian second language, chemistry, and I took uni math.
Wow, okay. And you reckon that's like a good mix for like a medical student?
I think for the language front, I wouldn't do it unless you like pretty good at a language, because I think some people go into like Chinese, Latin for the scaling, but I would just take something like Spanish, which is a lot easier to score higher on. So like,
Bash, easy to score high on. You might be one of the only people to say that.
compared to a language, I think Spanish is a bit just because of the scaling, it's a bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, straightforward. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. And yeah, so but I mean those like very intense subjects like Spash, literature especially. How do you think you like balanced everything and didn't burn out? Because you've got this goal of like getting like the best ATAR you could get so that you can get into this competitive course. I mean, it must be a lot.
UCAT.
And UCAT prep.
Yeah. I think certainly it's the counterintuitive, but going outside and having a life, you know what I'm saying? Like you need to have if you just really focus on just UCAT and ATAR, I think that you're bound to burn out. I mean, I attended youth every week. I was learning during year 12. I was trying to learn a new instrument. I mean, I was trying to have as fun, you know, with extracurriculars as I could, because like you don't need to throughout the entire year in as a year 12 to study 6 hours a day. Like you don't need to study 5 hours a day. You probably need to study 4 hours a day. I mean, 2 or 3 at most is sufficient throughout the year. And once you come to the end of the year for exam period, then you can start practicing. But throughout the year, even early, even now during June or like April, I mean, you can study. You can study. I think the key to it is just like consistency. Just 2 or 3 hours a day. Do that. Um, that's it. And I think you'll be fine at the end of the day.
And on average, like how much do you think you were studying?
Yeah, about that 2 or 3 hours a day.
2 or 3 hours.
2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
That seems marginally lower than what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, the guys that we know who got into Monash Med, you might know them, but yeah, they were like saying 4 hours, and then they would ramp it up to weekends to like
Yeah,
8 hours. I mean, that's a
exactly.
crazy lifestyle that I don't know. I guess it's really easy to burn out.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that the people you're talking about are the kids who got like 9.5. Well, again, you don't need to get a 9.5 to get into med. Again, I say you can get 97. If you want to do your best, you can. And I mean, 4 hours a day. I mean, sometimes you can do that, but again, the difficulty with that is that if you can maintain that kind of habit 4 hours a day, if you do like 3 days in a row with 4 hours and you skip 4 days without doing anything, I think that's not going to do you much help instead of just doing 2 hours consistently throughout the week.
So consistency is key.
Yeah, just consistency is key.
All right. So I think we've got a good grasp of like what high school is like for you. So let's talk about uni now. How's that going?
How's it going? It's certainly different. It's certainly different. If I could just, I think the key difference is you have a lot more. I'm sure you hear all the time. You have a lot more freedom and you can choice of what to do yourself. Your class, you have a lot less classes and more time to yourself. That can be good and bad in some ways. I think certainly something that I've felt and something I've seen in lots of other people is that you can be a bit lonely actually, because when you be in high school, you see your same friends every single day, same place every time. But sometimes, especially if I'm trying to hang out with my old friends, we have different classes. You have to be a bit more proactive if you want to meet up with them, you have to actually call up them or like message them, hey, do you want to meet up? Some people can't do that. So you spend a lot. Yeah, there's that. And sometimes, in fact, I look back in high school and miss the time when I can just, go down to the yard and just see my friends the same place, same time. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hanging out at Bob's house room.
That's true. So,
Yes. Okay. But like, would you say that's like the biggest difference between high school and university?
The biggest difference, I think that kind of gears towards the social element of it.
Yeah.
In terms of the academic, this if you from in terms of medical front, I think there'll be less work.
Less work.
Some people in other courses who are doing the engineering or stuff, they say it's more work, but I think the general consensus in medical school, just because lots of us were studying very hard in high school, is that there's less work in medical school. Certainly, there's still quite a bit of work. So I think the big chunk of it is just watching your lectures, because all the lectures we get are like videos. We don't have live lectures. We just have to watch them and take notes. And there's a ton of content. That's the main thing. There's a ton of content. It's a very broad range of content. We don't go too deep into it, but there's a lot of content which you have to shove into your brain.
So it's basically medical school is like a lot of memorizing.
Yeah, a lot of memorizing. And again, I think this in particular for medicine, that the consistency thing is quite key to retain all that information. And I'm quite certain that it's going to ramp up because again, I'm only been through first semester. I think it's going to ramp up quite a bit moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, so like, what did you learn in first semester? Do you think it's, I guess, like the basic chemistry and biology things that you've learned in the 3-4 all condensed down into like a more streamlined course?
Not condensed down, more, in fact, spread out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that. So we did all the basic like medical topics. So we did biochemistry, anatomy, pharmacology, physiology, immunology, microbiology, and all that kind of stuff. But there's also something this is like quite unique to Monash is that they have an emphasis on sort of a holistic kind of teaching, which so we learn about like mindfulness, for instance, and sort of and human development and health and like the social health kind of elements. So like learning about statistics and like the determinants of health, for instance, like how I don't know pollution can influence health, how infrastructure can influence health, and how that can and how mental health, for instance, or even diet and exercise can influence health. So I think it's quite more specific, but we're also giving towards that. And that's been quite a big emphasis in the first semester, not only just like anatomy or the biological element, but also like the social elements to it.
Wow. I mean, that's interesting.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you could say that.
I mean, like, what do you mean by like environmental factor? Like, or I say infrastructure. How is infrastructure impacting health right now?
So for instance, if a place let's say, I don't know, a place which has poor infrastructure, let's say poor, no running paths, that indirectly influences how less people can get less exercise, or let's say less people walk to work. They'll drive to work, and that's less
Yeah.
exercise per day, and thus that can influence their health, right? So kind of thinking about the upstream factors.
Yeah. Okay. And is this what you've expected, like medicine to kind of be like? Is this meeting your expectations?
Uh, until about before interview prep, no. But once you start going to interview prep and you see what kind of questions they're asking, because interview prep will ask things like this, like how does infrastructure influence it? This is like a kind of common theme in the interview questions. They'll ask these kind of social, somewhat seemingly irrelevant, but actually quite relevant questions. So once I got into the interview prep, I was like, okay, so I guess Monash has this. And also talking to other Monash, like previous Monash students, I kind of find that out.
Yeah.
Do you think being surrounded with those other like kind of like-minded, like trying to be a doctor is like, is it like good or is it kind of average?
I would say, it's certainly fun. I mean, I guess there is a pressure, not really pressure, but once I think everyone who was going to medicine, they were kind of in the upper echelon of their like school order. They're a bit better. But once you go into medicine, everyone's good. And so there's not much competition anymore. And in fact, I think Monash knows that because Monash now they actually emphasize that point multiple times during orientation that we're all in the top and there's no point competing now, right? So for instance, there's no our scores, we don't get scores, it's either pass or fail. So it's a PGO, so it's a pass grade only score. Because they really want to bring like down that competitive element of medicine. Because again, what they know that we're all good, we all could get in, and thus we can all pass, right?
Is that pass fail thing continuous throughout the course, or is it just first year?
It's a good question. I actually don't know.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. You enjoy it while it lasts.
So like class rankings don't matter at all.
No, there's no rankings.
Yeah.
That's the difference between high school.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. That's
Yeah.
good to know.
That's good to actually know. Yeah. Yeah.
But when are you gonna start doing like more practical things, more things that are, I guess, a doctor would be doing day to day, and sort of starting to become more immersed in that lifestyle?
Oh no, we've done several things like that. For instance, like some of the assessments we had or examinations were like taking a medical interview or taking blood pressure, giving an injection, things like that. So those are our key like SAC equivalents is doing that, like doing the practicals. And then so throughout the year with all the content that we learn, there's no actual assessments other than the final exam.
Oh, no assessment.
No like assessing our knowledge of like for instance anatomy, biochemistry or whatever. That's only the exam. But throughout all our assessment are practicals, like I just said, like giving an injection or taking a blood pressure, things like that.
So I guess it must be really easy just to be lazy and then like postpone all your study and just like start studying like a bit like really close to the exam because you're not really being assessed on all this information.
Yeah, I know some people by like week 11, they were only on week 3 lectures, so like they really had to.
So do you think you're like going into a lot of the classes, or I mean, you're staying at home, enjoying sleeping in that you didn't get in high school and just watching the lectures online?
As I said, the lectures, the lectures are all, the actual lectures with the content are, there's no, they're not, live. They're all like
Mm.
pre-recorded. So you have to watch them in your own time. The actual things you go in for are tutorials, which are like, where you learn about all the, what's it called, social health, things like that. And also how to do all the practical things like giving an injection and stuff like that. And they take attendance, so I have to look up.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. So what's a week in your life in terms of like going to classes then, or sleeping in and then watching the lecture?
So typically at the very start of the year, it was quite full on, um, like a 9 to 5 every day kind of thing. But as it kind of progressed by like week 4, week 5, classes started to some classes, like I don't know why, but they just my schedule's lightened. So it was about on average maybe four days, 4 days a week. Some days, maybe 2 of those days I would be for the full day, and the other 2 I'd only be there for like 1 or 2 classes. So it's actually quite chill, to be honest. It's not that bad.
Yeah. So you haven't altered your daily routines that much to
Oh
accommodate.
no, no. I haven't altered my daily routines at all. It's like school except just less.
Yeah. So a lot of video games on your phone.
Yeah, you can still do all that stuff, video games, whatnot. There's not too much compromise, at least in the first year. I'm sure it'll change once you get into the clinical years and whatnot.
yeah.
Yeah. So what's the pathway that you're kind of expecting from Monash, like in your in med school, Monash Med School?
What do you mean the pathway?
As in what's going to be changing each year that is so unique to Monash in terms of like, I guess, placements in hospitals or the opportunities that they offer.
So I think Monash is unique, firstly for the fact that it's, undergraduate. Not many unis offer that, and it's only a 5-year course. So most courses are 6 or 7 years, which is quite a reason why lots of people from all over the world come. Like I know people from America, people from Singapore who came just to do Monash, right? So and so the structure of the course is like, so we do 2 years in uni, and then we do 3 years in a like a hospital doing placements and stuff like that. And I think we do like rotations. I'm not too sure how often they are, 6 to 12 weeks, and each time we go somewhere else to do a different sort of like field. Like I don't know, we might do pediatrics to GP to other things like that. So it's quite a wide range of opportunities. Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. And what are your plans after med school? Do you know kind of what you want to specialize in?
Yeah, I mean, everyone asks that, right? But at the end of the day, you talk to anyone, and you talk to like the older med students, like fourth years, 5th years, and they say, even if you do know, you're probably gonna change anyways. Like, so no one really knows what they're gonna by first year, even by 4th year or 5th year, no one really knows. And even if they do know, yeah, they're probably gonna do something else anyways.
Yeah. So you're along for the ride.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to tell right now. I mean, yeah, just we haven't really learned anything specialized. The content we're learning is quite broad and not specific, right? So I guess further down the line, I'll kind of figure that out.
But you get exposure to all these different specialties whilst you're in med school.
I think that's that's the point. It's meant to get as much exposure as you can, and then you choose, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And then you can become a specialist in that field that you choose.
Yeah.
So nothing that's like piquing your interest that you've kind of been setting forth since like high school.
I guess it's a high school. Of course, it's that the Asian tendency to want to become a neurosurgeon.
Should.
Every Asian wants to do that, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the path I want to go down. I still have to think about it. I mean, it's easy to tell all your auntie and uncles that, oh, I want to be a neurosurgeon, and they say wow, wow, and they start clapping. But once you get into that actual field, it's like, I don't know, maybe I won't.
I mean, you've got long hours, a lot of years of training. Your lifestyle is very significantly impacted more than it would be just like in medical school.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. So I guess we'll start wrapping up now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cool.
yeah.
Let's have a reflection topic, right? If you could go back in time and tell your year 12 self one thing to do, what would you tell him?
I'd tell you to calm down a little bit. Just calm down a little bit. You don't need to be so stressed out all throughout the year about UCAT and interview. Just go with the flow. Just do your best. And if you don't like get if you do badly on one sack, just like move forward and don't look back. I mean, it's not really gonna affect it. Like I had so many sacks which I was like, oh, this is like my opportunity at Monash is gone. Like I'm not gonna get in, but like really one sack's not gonna change too much. Just keep moving forward, man.
I mean, like there's a lot of fallback. You don't
Yeah.
have to go to Monash Med.
Exactly.
I mean, do you have friends currently doing undergraduate?
Biomed, Melbourne, Monash. I mean, there's so many pathways. I mean, even if you don't get in, like it's not the end of the world. Like if you want to become a doctor, like you'll become a doctor, like one way or another.
That's true.
Yeah, no, that's good. So I guess to finish up, do you have like any tips or tricks that you're willing to share to our
What are two things you would say to the listeners?
I think if anyone's out there, fully there, you're 12, you're 11, and hopefully someone's listening to this podcast. I don't know. I think just like don't idolize medicine so much. Like it's like just like any other course. Because like I think for me at least, it kind of medicine was like this thing at the peak of the summit, the culmination of all my hard work and everything like that. And I thought once I reached there, it was gonna be like it's it, like it's the absolute goal. Like it's not, it's just any other course, right? Once you get in, it's like, oh cool, I'm in medicine. I mean, like it's just like any other course. You don't it's like not as good as like stigma is, right? I mean, it's just like I mean, it's probably what you expect, but like don't beat yourself up if you're not like even if you can't get in, like there's so many other pathways. Just don't beat yourself up. Just do your best, like, and you'll be fine. Like, just enjoy. And I think the number two thing is just enjoy high school. Like, just enjoy it. Like, because like sometimes I look back and I miss it, right? Just enjoy spending time with your friends and complaining about like sacks and whatnot. It's just fun. Okay.
comparing the rankings after the method sack?
Yeah, complain about the method sack, complain about VS questions and whatnot. Just have fun. That's my thing.
Awesome. So thank you so much, future Dr. Tan.
Hey, hey, no worries.
Yeah, make sure if you ever have something wrong with your brain, this is the guy that you're gonna go to, future neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for being our first ever guest.
Hey, no worries, no worries.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much for listening as well.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Learn something.
Yeah, and yeah, so to the next one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.